Yo, 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 what it do, what it do? It's your boy Yellow the Poet, and today I am here with Miss Catherine Giovanni. She's a three-time award-winning best-selling author. Her new book, which is called The Ultimate Path to Forgiveness. We're going to learn more about forgiveness in a different way. So she's got her own spin on it, and we're going to learn a whole lot about that. She actually wears many hats, and we'll learn more about that as well as we're going on. But first, I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome to YTP Entertainment, Miss Catherine Giovanni. Thank you so much for joining us. Greatly appreciate it. And please let the audience know what you got going on.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've been in business for never mind how long I've been in business. So let's just say a few decades, needless to say. I've written 12 books because I'm just a little bit of an overachiever. But what my latest book is about forgiveness. And the thing about forgiveness is everybody teaches you that you have to forgive. Nobody teaches you how.
Mm,
How? And what
definitely.
if I don't want to? Then what do you do?
Exactly.
So everybody who's listening now, including yourself, more than likely, on a 10 scale, with 10 being unforgivable dumpster fire and one being the easiest person in the world to forgive, y'all are thinking of your number 10s. That's what everybody thinks. When they see the word forgiveness, they think of that unforgivable person that they don't want to forgive. So you don't want to forgive. So the system that I've come up with it allows you to forgive all of these people.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So, what are some of the steps that we can take towards learning to forgive the people that we don't want to forgive?
Well, the first off, forgiveness doesn't, just because I forgive you doesn't mean I want a relationship with you.
Mhm.
Probably don't. And that's fine. Just because I forgive you doesn't mean I'm giving you a pass. It doesn't mean you're correct. This is the stumbling block of almost everybody. If I forgive somebody, it means they were right. Absolutely not. They're still wrong. They're still a dumpster fire, and I probably still don't like you. Forgiveness for me means I want you out of my head. That's
Mhm.
it. I want to stop thinking about you. I want to stop telling the stories. I want to live my life again. I want to breathe. That's what forgiveness is. And you can forgive with all due respect, you can forgive dead people too. Because where they are or are not doesn't matter a lick, does it? Because forgiveness is selfish. I'm doing it for me. The person you're forgiving probably isn't thinking about you at all. This bothers women because we want you to be miserable like us. But they're not. They're living their life. They don't care. You're the one who's miserable.
Yeah.
So, on that 10 scale, I want you to start with the number ones and work your way up to the unforgivable. Start
Mhm.
with the easy ones. The person who cut you off on I-95 South, you can forgive that person. They were late to work. For a person who stole your sandwich at work, okay, I hope you can forgive that person. Let's come on now. It's a sandwich. The person who stole your parking space when you went to the grocery store, you can forgive that person. And when it comes to the unforgivable people, I'm the only one on the planet who's going to say this to you. You don't have to forgive them. Don't. Because there's other people, places, and things, and I did say places and things, so just hang with me for a bit, that you can forgive before you even get to that person. And then there's these sayings that everybody just throws in your face. Well, you have to forgive and forget. Okay, I'm from New York. There's no forgetting. There might be a unicorn happy person living a hippy dippy life somewhere on the planet who's capable of forgetting the bad stuff. I'm not your girl. There's no forgetting. But what I can promise you is neutrality. I can promise you that it'll take the emotional charge out of it. So when you go on Facebook or you go to Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner and you see this person or you see the person's name,
Mhm.
there won't be an emotional charge anymore. You won't care. That's what I'm looking for. You won't care. And when they try and press your buttons, you'll probably laugh. I mean, imagine that going to Thanksgiving and not letting Aunt Martha. I don't have an Aunt Martha. That's why I use that as an example. The imagine Aunt Martha not being able to push your buttons, and it's going to piss her off because then she enjoys pushing your buttons, and that's going to be entertaining in and of itself because she's going to try, and it's not going to work. That's
Definitely.
part of the process right now. There, the secret sauce to the whole process is energy.
Mhm.
Einstein did say energy is neither created nor destroyed. So it just transitions into something else. So when you get mad, you think it leaves your mouth and it dissipates into the universe.
Mhm.
Sadly, it does not. It hangs in your energy field until you're ready to clear it.
Mhm.
100%. Let me give you a
Got
visual. For anybody listening to the broadcast, hop over to YouTube and watch this demonstration. But if you don't, I'm about to hold a coffee cup right in front of my face. So when I'm first angry, I can hold this cup to the side. I can manage my anger. Look, we can
Mhm.
have a conversation. I can go to work. We can have dinner. I can manage my anger. This is super easy. I'm not mad. The longer I hold on to this, now it's starting to hurt. Now I'm using two hands to hold the cup. I still can manage my life. I can still hold it off to the side, but it's starting to mess me up, right? Now, if I continue to hold on to this anger, well, now I can't see you at all. It's completely taken over my brain. You are in my head 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's in my conversations. And I'm starting to get sick and tired because I'm not taking care of myself because I'm not paying attention anymore. I'm just paying attention to the anger in the glass. And who in the world wants to be around me? Nobody. So my
Exactly.
forgiveness system is a step-by-step system, and I'll go through the whole system if you want me to. That's going to allow you to put down your little glass of anger and live your life.
Definitely. Definitely. We got to live our lives. And me, I'm one of those people. I don't spend time giving energy to things or people that don't deserve it. I'm
Right.
gonna somewhere or look for someone that, not exactly look for them, but if we cross paths and we happen to start talking, so be it. If we don't, so be it. It is what it is.
Right.
And in college, we used to always call that throwing things out. So instead of wasting our time and energy on people who we feel do not deserve our time nor our energy, we just pretty much throw them out of our heads and continue on with life.
For the people that stick in your head like fly paper, like sticky paper, and a lot of people have told me, well, I have forgiven them. Sure. And you did do the work. Why are they still in your head? If you did the
Exactly.
work, why did they come up in a conversation? Why are they still thinking of why are you still thinking about it while you're watching me on this broadcast? It's because you didn't forgive the energy. My mantra
Mhm.
is very simple. You don't have to hold crystals unless you want to. You don't have to dance around the room on one leg unless that's what you like to do. Go for it. It's really just a simple poem. And being a poet, you'll appreciate that. Is I forgive whose ever name. I forgive Martha. I forgive the energy around Martha. I forgive myself. I forgive the energy around myself. I forgive the energy around the entire situation. That's it. And I always put my hand on my heart. And I always, the words are just for us stupid humans. It's really the energy behind the words. And what I want everybody to do is I want you to sit down with a pad of paper and a pen, or if you're 100 years younger than me, your phone. That's fine. I really don't care. But write down all the people that you think you need to forgive. And then I want you to rate them from 1 to 10. And you could have seven number fives. I don't care. And you could skip a number. Works for me. Write them all down. Then rate them. And I want you to start with your number ones and work your way up the list. Now, how do you forgive the unforgivable? Unforgivable people often are family because they can really mess you up, man. And they might be a business partner or an ex. Relationships, they can mess you up. So, what if it is horrific? I was bullied in school and I've had a dysfunctional family. I tried to commit suicide. I was one of those kids. So, needless to say, I had a lot of stuff in my past that I had to forgive. So, what if you can't forgive the childhood bully? It's on your list and you say, this is easy. It happened in grammar school, and you find it's really hard to forgive. And it's gone from a number 3 up to an 8. You didn't realize you were so mad. What if you can't forgive this person? Well, there are people in the world who are unforgivable. And I'm sure you agree with me. There are certain situations that are 100% unforgivable. That's totally fair. And everybody knows it. You don't have to forgive the unforgivable. And there's other things within that memory that you can forgive. For example, the reason I call it a dumpster fire is because the unforgivable person is sitting in a dumpster of memories. And there's other things in those memories that you can forgive. Everything has energy around it, including this tiny little microphone. It has energy around it. And you can clear the energy through forgiveness. So if I had a bully in grammar school, which I did, I forgave the school that I went to, the building. I forgave the energy around the building. I forgave the desk, the table, the chair, the park. I forgave the date that it happened. I forgave the people that stood around that didn't help at all, and the energy around all these people. Pick apart the memory. And if you really can't do it, then if you really can't forgive, then just start with this. I completely forgive myself for not being able to forgive and the energy around this thought. Do that every day for a week. Forgiveness is like an onion, and your brain is such an amazing tool, and it hides things from you to protect you. So when you use that affirmation and that little mantra, and you do it every day for a week, your brain's going to go, oh, wow, okay, I'm going to open door number 1, and I'm going to push out some memories for you. Here you go. And all of a sudden you'll know memories. I was on a podcast a couple days ago, and I was talking to a psychiatrist or analyst or whoever he was, and he said, I don't have anybody to forgive. I love it when people tell me that. I said, are you a sports fan? He said, yeah. I said, did your team lose last week? He said, yeah. I said, did you get angry? I said, yeah. I said, get my point? You can forgive that. I forgave 1974. Why did I forgive 1974? Because that's the year I tried to commit suicide, and the whole year was a serious dumpster fire. And I forgave everybody within that year, but then it was still tripping me up, and I still found it creeping into my thoughts. 60 something, I was in my 50s at the time, 50 something year old woman thinking about something that happened in her childhood. That's ridiculous. Yet there I was. So I forgave 1974, and I forgave the energy around 1974.
Understood. Understood. It's definitely a different perspective on forgiveness, and you definitely brought it out. I like that. I like the idea and everything that surrounds it, especially when we talk about energy and affirmations. Woo, those are the closest things to my heart. I love dealing with energies, and I love dealing with affirmations, because a lot of people don't understand how energy and affirmations actually
Yeah.
um, mold and shape your life. And some people are actually performing and creating those energies around themselves and doing affirmations and don't even realize that that's what it's even called in the first
Yeah.
place. They don't.
It's
A lot.
the the energy will work whether you believe in it or not. It's like the law of gravity. The law of gravity is going to work whether you believe in it or not. You can call the law of gravity of keeping Catherine on the planet. It doesn't care. It's going to still work. Okay, I don't believe in the law of gravity. Doesn't care. It's still going to work. This is the law of forgiveness. It's the same thing. Now, a lot of people love to throw these things out, like these sayings, killing two birds with one stone, for example. Why are we killing birds, and why are you throwing stones at it? What did they do to you? I hate that saying. But it's also that people have a tendency to say anger is toxic. Okay, how? And of course, it's the energy. How? Well, and you could look this up on Google. It's right online. It's a Japanese water, there's a Japanese researcher, and it's called the Japanese Water Study, done by a guy named Masumoto something. I can never remember his name. I'll have to write it down. but it's right online. If you Google just that, you'll find it. And what he did, I'll simplify it and make it really fast. What he did is he took several containers of water, and in one container of water, he spoke absolute loving words to. It's all he did. He spoke beautiful words, told it he loved it, said it was gorgeous, all these lovely things. The other container of water, he spewed hate at it, swore at it, told it it was awful, all these really bad stuff. He then froze the water and put it under a microscope. The water he said nasty things to had these black and brown malformations, and they were ugly. The water that he spoke love to had these beautiful snowflake looking formations. Why am I telling you this? The human body is 98% water. So when your self-talk is bad, when you are spitting out hate and negativity and your anger, what do you think you're doing to the water cells within your body? Combine
Definitely.
that with the toxic energy, and you're probably sick and tired. So, by forgiving the easy ones on your list and working your way up to the hard ones, and there's worksheets and all that kind of stuff in the book, but by forgiving your ones, twos, and threes, for example, it's going to start changing the water molecules in your body. Your energy is going to be different, and you're going to go out and people are going to look at you and say, "What are you doing different? You look different today." And you're going to start to pay attention. You might see a money-making opportunity. Well, why didn't you notice it before? Because you were too focused on the anger. You weren't paying attention. You might see a great way to lose weight. You might find a perfect relationship. Why? Because you're paying attention now. Now you can see this stuff. Now, I had a client once who thought she was forgiving, and we were in an actual private session, and I said, well, pick out a number 1, 2, or 3. So she picked out a 3 person on her list, and I went through everything with her, and she got madder because the back closets of her mind opened. Her brain protected her. So it went from a number 3 to a number 7 pretty fast. That might happen too. You might lose people. Jim Rohn, who's a very famous motivational speaker, said you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Those 5 people like you the way you are, for whatever reason, good or bad. And as you start to change, unless they change along with you, it's going to cause, friction, because they want their person back. They want their punching bag back. They want the person that they've always known back. So one of 3 things is going to happen. They're either going to change with you and roll with you, they're going to leave, or they're going to sabotage it. As that happens, stand your ground.
Yes, yes, indeed. And that is something that happens on a regular. And a lot of people deal with things differently,
Yeah.
but sometimes the outcome of how you deal with things can definitely be detrimental. And that's not a cool thing to have to deal with, no doubt. No doubt.
I have
So
been known to go out into my car, and my family has mostly passed away, but I used to go out to my car and I would sit in there and go, I forgive them, I forgive them, I forgive them, I forgive them, like 100 times. Did any of those forgivenesses mean anything? Absolutely not. None of it made there was no energy behind any of them, but it reminded me to stay in that forgiveness kind of mode. And then when I advise everybody to do this before bed, because your body heals itself when it's sleeping. And I did the actual work that evening. But here's a little PSA for everybody listening who's getting really excited about it and going to write their lists and forgive everybody in one shot tonight. I know you're out there because I'm an overachiever too. So I got my list together. This is a number of years ago, and I must have had 40, 50 people on the list. I mean, I went out of my mind and I thought, this is great. I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to be like a phoenix rising from the ashes. I'm going to be a butterfly. I'm going to be a new person tomorrow, and I'm going to go through this list and everything's going to be great. Didn't actually work out that way. I did forgive everybody on the list. Some of them stayed forgiven. Some of them I had to do it over again. It's like an onion, I mean, you have to keep peeling it back. Can't get a number 10 down to a 1 in one sitting. This is a marathon, not a sprint. But I did forgive most of them. And I spent the next 3 days in bed with what everybody thought was a stomach flu. It was not the stomach flu. It was my body trying to get rid of remember those cells we were talking about? My body was trying to get rid of the anger energy that I had stored within my body. So when you do this process, Your shoulders might feel lighter. My oldest son said that. He said it's weird. This shouldn't be happening, but it legit feels lighter. Some people, most people will get really tired, which is why I want you to do it at night. Some people will get thirsty. Some people politely said you might be in the bathroom for a little bit. You didn't eat bad fish. It's just your body clearing itself out, I politely said. But only do like 10 to 12 at a time so you don't get sick like I did, because your body just, it needs time to process. And I do it every night before I go to bed.
That's pretty cool. You got your own regimen for how it actually works for you. So when you're teaching this to other people, do you suggest that they have their own regimen, or do you suggest that they do it the way that you tell them to do it, or teach them to do it, should I say?
You can do your process anytime during the day that you want to. That's fine with me. And my process is very, very simple. Forgiveness is selfish. I do it for me. I don't do it for you. And so I don't feel the need to reach out and call anybody. Listen, I've been sober for 34 years. And when you first get sober, you go to AA and you have to do all these steps and you have to make amends and do all these things. 34 years ago, I'm actually an extroverted introvert, is what they call me now. But back then, I was painfully shy. So Catherine was not reaching out to anybody. No, not today, not ever. I just was not interested in reaching out to somebody who would yell at me. Yeah, not gonna happen. So my method is completely private. You don't have to tell anybody you've done this. So you get a picture of the person you want to forgive in your mind, starting with the number one, even if they've passed away. It doesn't matter. They're still living in your head. And I want you to imagine that they're standing in front of your bed. If you can't imagine them as you knew them back then in front of your bed or chair or tree, wherever you are, put a chair there with their name on it. Talk to the chair. And then I would say whatever I wanted to say. This is my party, and I will yell at you if I want to, because they're not really there. So I said whatever I wanted to say, and I got it all out. And then I'd put my hand in my chest, I'd say my mantra, and that's it. And I'd go on to the next name. That's it. That's all it is. And after you say the mantra, I want you to check in with your body. You still mad? Or do you feel better? If you are still mad, is it still a 5? Did it go down to a 4? Or did it ramp up to a 10 because you all of a sudden are remembering things now? Either way, it's all good. If it went down, write the number next to the name. Wait 24 hours, do it again. But it's the energy that is the most important part of the process, forgiving the energy around somebody. And sometimes the energy is all you can forgive if you're really that angry. I have a friend who couldn't even forgive the energy around the person she was mad at. So I forgive myself for not being able to forgive and the energy around it, and do that every day for a week or 2 weeks or a month, as long as you need to. Or skip that person and go to the next name. Every
So
speaker in the world, and I'm not trying to bash speakers, but you know that wall everybody talks about? You've heard about
it's
the wall, right?
definitely,
And we all have to
definitely.
have tools to get through that wall and get out that jackhammer, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, pull out a few bricks out of the wall, forgive a few people, forgive a little bit of the memory that for that person, walk around the damn thing, keep going. Forgive what you can and keep going. Circle back later. And if you never can circle back, that's fine. Forgive yourself, the energy around yourself, and keep going. That's my
So
message. Forgive what you can and keep going. Our world is in a whole mess of hate right now. And this is the reason I give out the entire method, is because this system, it works. This is the how to behind forgiveness.
exactly. So one of the things that um that I think about too is integrity. And integrity, it has to work inside and out.
Right.
So you're telling when you're teaching people how to do your forgiveness process, is it important to tell them about being honest about what they say, or do they just need to just say whatever comes to mind?
It's very hard to lie to yourself when you're all alone in a room.
You'd be
I
surprised
mean,
how
you
many.
can. You can. I used to do it. And listen, I was sober for a reason. So yeah, you could lie to yourself, but after a while it sounds pretty silly. But this is the probably the one time that you probably want to tell the truth to yourself as you see it right then. A year from now, your truth might change. Your brain protects you. You legitimately might not remember things. And as you forgive, your mind is going to pull things out and it's going to change things. So you forgive what you can now and circle back later.
And that's to help you to pick up some of those things that you probably missed, and now you can
Right.
include in your forgiveness process and be able to move further, even further in your forgiveness for that particular entity, person, whomever. You'll be able to move forward in your process. I totally get it. I like this. This is pretty cool. This is
Let
really
me give
pretty
you
cool.
another example that might help people out. It's the holidays are coming up. And man, Aunt Martha is going to be there at Thanksgiving. And you know she's going to be there. And you've spent many Thanksgivings being upset. And it takes you days to recover because she loves to push those buttons and she drinks. She drinks a lot. So, what do you do? Because your parents always put you next to Aunt Martha and you beg them not to, but somehow you end up next to Aunt Martha every time. And she loves it. So, what do? Okay, I want you to, a couple weeks before, I want you to pick apart a Thanksgiving memory. Pick one, because she's been horrible at all of them, hasn't she? So pick your favorite. Pick the most fun one, right? And pick apart the memory and forgive stuff within the memory. Forgive Aunt Martha if you can, and the energy around Aunt Martha if you can. If you can't, just pay it lip service and say it anyways. And then I want you to pick apart the memory. I want you, and I'm actually serious. I want you to forgive the table, the chairs, the house, the energy around these things. I want you to forgive the other people that sat at the table and laughed along with Aunt Martha, the energy around these people. You can, and then by the time you get to Thanksgiving, it's not going to hurt as much. And she's still going to push your buttons. She's going to try because that's what she does, but it won't affect you as much. And you'll probably laugh. See, you can forgive anything. If it pisses you off, excuse my language, but if it pisses you off, you can forgive it. Anything on CNN. You can forgive politicians, dare I say. You can forgive the war in the Middle East. What's that going to do for the war in the Middle East? Not a damn thing. But it's going to do an awful lot for you because it's not going to bother you anymore. You might want to turn the news off anyways because it just irritates everybody. My sons will tell me what I need to know, no doubt. So yeah, I can't stand it. But I have forgiven all of these things. And you can forgive the football team that lost. I'm not kidding. If this is bothering you in your head, you can forgive it and live your life again.
Yes, indeed. So you're freeing your energies of
Yeah,
all of the negativities, of all these unwanted extra energies and entities inside of your being. So you
right.
want to take those things away from your being so that your being can actually be cleansed and pure and actually be able to stay focused on the things that you actually need to focus on rather than focus on things that has happened in your life that cause a blockage. So
Right.
it's all constipation and you want to get it out. You don't want to keep that there because it just constantly get worse and worse and worse.
It's making you sick. Those water
Yeah,
molecules in your body are listening to everything that's going on and they're not happy.
no, not at all. Not at all. And they never will be as long as
Mm-mm.
it can stay that way, no
That's
doubt.
right.
I was also reading something in your profile that
Mhm.
you battled with breast cancer.
I
Is
did.
that and it's interesting because on my very first time being on Podmatch, the lady that actually helped me to understand how the podcasting and the Podmatch actually goes, she was also dealing with that, and her husband had just passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So,
Yeah.
so it was a blessing that I was able to talk to her and speak motivationally to her. And she's been in remission for quite some time. Wonderful lady, very wonderful woman. I just love to talk about her because she has definitely excelled and moved on to putting herself in a better position than what she was in before. And it's a blessing to know that she's still around and she's still in remission. So don't have to worry about that. That's a blessing. So can you please let the people know how you deal with it and what helps you to not have to be stuck in the realm of negativity when dealing with it?
Well, 12 years ago, I've been cancer free for 12 years now. And 12 years ago, I'm not sure they do that today, but 12 years ago, they sent you to chemo class.
Mhm.
And I had stage 3 triple positive breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
And they send you to class and they proceed to sit you in this tiny little airless, windowless room. And they tell you all the negative stuff that's going to happen and all the side effects. Nothing positive, nothing about what you should be eating and thinking. And I wrote a book about it because, of course, I did, right? Wrote that book in a chemo chair because I was bored. I wrote it on my cell phone because I was bored. Told you, a little overachiever. But while I was listening to them, my brain snapped. So after the class, I went up to her and I used to call her Nurse Ratchet under my breath because she was. And I went up to her and I said, I'm not going to get all of that. And I live in the South. So she looked at me and she said, Oh, honey, you're going to get most of it. I said, No, I'm not. So you fast forward a year and I've had all sorts of horrible chemos and radiation operations and all that kind of stuff. I was actually sick for 4 years. And she came up to me in the hall. She said, Mrs. Giovanni, what are you doing? Kind of looked around and said, walking down the hall. Didn't understand what she was trying to ask me. She said, No, no, no. What are you doing? You didn't get as sick as everybody expected you to. And I just smiled at her and I said, Do you remember a year ago when I told you I wasn't going to get as sick as everybody? She said, Well, you're doing something. I said, Well, I'm eating clean and I'm keeping positive, but that's what I did. I decided not to. Your mind is a very, very powerful thing. And not only did I stay positive, and staying positive when you're sick and in pain like that, it's like a shower. I kind of think you need to do it every day. And sometimes it's a minute by minute choice when you're in that much pain. And it's not easy, but it's like you can take the local train or you can take the express. Both trains will get you there. I talked to a gentleman who said his anger and his story got him to where he was today. And if he didn't have his anger, it would fueled him. And that's how he got to be successful. And yes, it worked for him. But when you take that local train, it's painful and you stumble and you fall and you get every Tom, Dick, and Harry cold germ that there is out there. You're sick and you're tired. It's a hard, hard way to make it when you rather get in the express. Love and
Definitely.
happiness and forgiveness will get you twice as far and twice as fast as that local train will. And also, when it comes to forgiveness, I actually forgave cancer like it was a human being. I forgave cancer, the energy around the cancer. I forgave the chemo chair. I forgave the operations. I forgave the surgeons. I forgave the chemo. I forgave the radiation. I forgave all of it, and I did it on a regular basis. So I wouldn't be storing that anger within me. And that's how I got through cancer. Now I did all the stuff and I ate clean and all that stuff, but my mindset was probably my most powerful tool. And that's the message I have for anybody who's going through an illness. Your mind is the most powerful tool that you have to get through whatever you're getting through. Don't die until you're dead.
Exactly.
Just saying. If you've
Yeah,
woken up in the morning, okay, you're still here. Have at it.
exactly. Exactly. I love this because one of the things that I notice is that each person has a different story. It's the same fight, but you have a different story on how you
That's right.
assessed it, how you've gone through different things with it, and how you fight it. Like everybody has a different thing. So it's cool. You spoke on eating right, and one of the
Yep.
ladies most recent podcast, she talked about eating right as well. And
Yeah, no
she
chemicals. Eat clean. And if
She
you don't
did.
know what eating clean is, just Google it. There's a whole movement about how to eat clean. And it really just means if you read the ingredients of something and you can't pronounce what's on there, keep going. That's really what it means. It means as close to how God made it as possible.
Mhm. Yes,
And yes,
indeed.
I ate meat and chicken. Every time I call myself a vegetarian, I crave a steak. You know, it's really it's a problem. So I've stopped. I've stopped trying, but I do limit the red meat that I have because it is legit bad for you. But I can't seem to cut it out because then I crave it.
Oh
It's
wow.
just me.
I
We're all
can't
gonna die
eat
sometime, I guess.
know what that I wouldn't know what that is because I can't eat it anyway. I have food allergies and I'm allergic to pork and beef, so I wouldn't be able to eat it anyway. No red meats for me.
Yeah, I don't like pork, so pigs are safe from you and I. That's it. They're safe around us. Nothing gonna happen to you.
Yes, indeed, that's for certain. I love that. So what are some of your favorite dishes that you like to eat when,
We
helps you with that?
Well, we just eat clean. We'll drink smoothies every morning that's got everything, including the kitchen sink in it. And I try and drink a lot of water. We try and eat a lot of vegetables, but the food we eat is clean. If we want chocolate cake, I usually make one homemade because I control the ingredients. If we want French fries, we'll usually put them in the air fryer and just use real potatoes. That's how we've been eating for the last 12 years. We eat as close to the way God made it as possible. I
Understood.
mean, I fall. I eat Ben and Jerry's once in a while and just hold my breath. But you know, I'm only human. But yeah, we really, really do try and eat as clean as possible.
That's pretty cool. That's a good thing. And I definitely thank you for sharing that because there's a lot of our people who probably are going through something, maybe it may not be breast cancer, but it may be another form of cancer. But
Right.
at they understand from a person that's actually been through it some things that they too can add to what they're doing to help them to go into remission and be better and not have to worry about dealing with that, even if it's for a long time. At least you're free for a while to go out and do something different, enjoy life a little bit better, do
Sure.
something that's going to continue to accentuate that joy that you needed for quite some time.
And trust that little bird in your shoulder. Trust your intuition when it talks to you, because that intuition can see farther than you can. Here's a true story. I'm actually kind of intuitive. And in 2011, the little bird on my shoulder said, "You have to start jogging." And I've been allergic to exercise since the day I was born. So, and you can call the little bird God, Jesus, whatever you want to talk to, whatever you want to say. But it kept saying, "You need to run." And I kept saying, "You're out of your mind." I'm the only one that talks back, right? I talk back. No, no, I'm not going to do that. Couldn't get it out of my head. So I used the Couch to 5K running program, which is legit and it works and it does exactly what you think it does. It's right online. And I started to run, and eventually I went from a size 16 down to an 8, and I knew the weight was coming off too fast. I knew it was coming off too fast. And the day before my birthday, I found a lump myself, and it was stage 3 breast cancer, found it just in the nick of time. And the surgeon said if I hadn't taken up running, I would be dead because it was in a very strange place and nobody would have found it. So the little bird on my shoulder has saved my life not once, but 3 times, not that I'm counting particularly. And so when the little bird tells you something, trust it. How many times have you just said, "I knew I shouldn't have done that," or "I knew I shouldn't have hired that person," or "I knew I shouldn't have gone to that party"? Of course you knew. You're intuitive. Everybody on the planet is intuitive. You hear it, see it, know it, or you just feel it. Everybody, 10 out of 10 people. Wrote a book about that too. But it's everybody is intuitive, and it's a question of learning to trust it. You have to trust in things we cannot see,
Yes, yes. And
and it might
also,
save your life.
you got to learn to understand that intuitive message that's coming to you. Because some people will get they'll get the intuitive message, but not understand exactly what's being conveyed to them. So you
Exactly.
definitely understand what's going on and practice knowing more and understanding more about it so that when it does come to you, you can act on it immediately and say, hey, okay, I think I may not want to do this, or okay, let me go ahead and do this because this is going to be beneficial to me. Like whatever it is,
That's right.
be more understanding, try to understand what's going on. Because some
Pay
people,
attention. Pay attention to what you're thinking. I mean, I usually hear words, and I'm not crazy. It's just I've been doing it since I was a kid. And I was walking my dog about 4 years ago, and all of a sudden I was crossing the street, and all of a sudden I hear she's not going to stop. Clear as day. And I stopped because I've learned to listen to the little bird on my shoulder. So when it says stop, I usually stop. And sure enough, somebody blew the light and would have killed, definitely would have killed the dog. And I would have probably been in the hospital. So, you can hear that little bird in life-threatening information, in life-threatening times, but you can also do it in your daily life. Have you ever walked into a room and it just feels wrong? I mean, it just feels off.
yes,
Look
definitely.
around in the room, see who's there, and then turn around and leave. Because there's a reason. Or you're driving and all of a sudden you get this itch that you need to turn left instead of right, but right gets you home faster and left is a long way. Go left. There's probably a reason why you're being told to go left. This is all stuff that's actually very, very real. It's like the law of forgiveness and the law of gravity. This stuff, this energy is absolutely real.
Yes, indeed, it is. And I can attest to that because I do too get the voices. Like, for example, I was walking down the street and the way that I normally go, someone's like, don't go that way today. And I was like, okay, I'm not going that way today. So I went a different way, but still got to the same destination. And it was like, it was a benefit that I did because not going the same direction that I would normally go, somebody ended up catching a person, a guy that was actually stalking people to kill them because he had killed
Oh,
people. So it was that, I guess it was that blessing because I was a teenager when it happened to me. So I guess it was that blessing that I did listen to my intuition and go a different direction.
yeah,
So
that would have been awful. Yeah, no, good for you. That's that's what I'm talking about, that exact thing. That's what I'm talking about.
mhm. And
And
that's
everybody can do that. Some people
yeah,
hear words, some people see the answer in their mind, some people feel the answer, some people just know the answer. Every mama in the world's got that mama voice, and sometimes she just knows things. Yeah, moms have sixth sense, don't they? And they use that voice, that
yeah,
don't bleep with me voice. Yeah, every mom has it. So
yes,
everybody has this intuition. It's just a question of, do you trust it? Do you listen to it? Or do you say to yourself, I knew I shouldn't have done that?
never steered me wrong so far. And I know
Right.
every time I cross the street, I don't get the words, I get the vision when I'm crossing the street. So it's like when someone is gonna run the light or something like that, I get that vision and I actually see that actual same car running the light. And thank goodness I decided not to go when I wanted to. I decided to wait. So listening to that, it's one of the most powerful things and one of the best things that you can ever do in your entire life is to listen to your intuition because it's there for a reason. It's
That's
definitely
clairvoyance, right? That means you're clairvoyant.
yeah, I
Now,
have
for
that.
all of those listening, clairvoyance doesn't mean he's going to see a ghost walk into his office in the next 30 seconds. He might, but I doubt it. Clairvoyance means that you see the answer in your mind. Can you see your childhood bedroom? Can you
Yeah.
see the color of the walls? That's clairvoyance. It means you see the answer in from the world around you. I hear the answer. I actually hear the words. Sounds just like my own voice in my own mind, but I actually hear the words. Some people feel the answer. They feel the energy. Some it's good energy, it's bad energy. Some people just know it. The knowing
Yeah.
people is called clairsentience, and they're very hard to convince that they're intuitive because they just know it. A lot of PhDs are like that. They just know the answer. So everybody does it one of those four ways. There's actually 12 ways, but there's 4 or 5 main ones that everybody does. And one of those methods appeals to everybody watching this right now.
Yeah,
We're
that
all
is
intuitive. We've just been socialized since birth to believe that we're not. The minute you start showing a smidge of intuition, at least when I was a kid, they slapped a "I'm crazy, you're crazy" as a bedbug sticker on your forehead and tried to give you meds. I'm
right.
not crazy. So I just kept my mouth shut. I just didn't tell anybody what I was hearing because I didn't want to be stuffed into a locker.
And that's what I shut up too. I did. I got really quiet. I mean, I
Me
was already
too.
out, so I just shut up. I didn't say anything. I would
Right.
see things, and I would see things getting ready to happen, and I just either like if it's somebody who I knew or something like that, I would just be like, "Hey, can you come over here for a second? Let me talk to you right quick."
Got a little
And
advice for you.
right. They came over and they talked to me, and whatever was about to happen, it still happened, but it just didn't happen to them.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah, I got very, very good at giving messages to people when they didn't know it because I'd use filler words like, "Have you ever thought about dot, dot, dot?" Or, "You know, it would be good for you, you know?" And when they called me out on it, they said, "How could you possibly know that?" I'd say, "Oh, just experience. I've been, I've been consulting and coaching for forever." Yeah, no, I heard it. That's there was no trick. I actually heard it. So
yes,
that's kind of how this whole forgiveness system came. It just kind of came to my friends and I who are also intuitive, and it just kind of came to us. So that's
mhm,
why it's this system that we've created is so unique because the
yes,
world they need to forgive. They need this anger is just it's taking everybody over.
yes, indeed. And I love what you're saying because it's definitely coming from a different level of understanding, a different level of interest, different level. It's almost like a combination between alchemy, clairvoyance, intuition. It's like you taking all these and put them into one thing, and then you come up with a system to say, "Hey, this will actually help everybody." Let me speak on that.
It's like a salad, man, and it's a salad that actually works. It
Yeah,
actually works. So, I mean, it's a step-by-step system that works. It's like, do this, then this is what you do next, and this is what you do next. And it'll lead you to forgiveness. And you don't have to forgive the unforgivable people. And I think a couple of the podcasts I've been on, everybody seems to be stuck on one thing, which is fair. Everybody I talk to seems to, I think we were all taught as kids that if I forgive you, it means the other person was correct. I'm not sure why they were teaching kids that because it's wrong. Just because I forgive you doesn't mean I'm giving you a pass. It means I just want to be free. I want you out of my head. You're still wrong. But
yes,
that seems to be a very hard concept because our ministers and our teachers and if you forgive, you're being the bigger person.
yeah,
Okay, I'm not being the bigger person. Thank you for thinking of that about me. I'm being selfish. I'm forgiving for me. I'm not doing it for you. I'm not a bigger person at all. You're still awful, and I might even still talk about the story because you're still awful. I'm forgiving for me because I want you out of my head and I want to live my life again.
yes, indeed. You
Does
got
that
to.
mean I'm being a bigger person because I can forgive you? Maybe. But that's not really the reason I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I'm being selfish because I want you out of my head. You're living rent free in my head. It's time to evict you, don't you think?
I totally agree. And I tell people I'm not going to give you that space in my head because you're not paying for it.
They don't
So,
deserve it.
exactly.
They hurt you. They don't deserve the right to be in your head. This is somebody who hurt you. And it doesn't mean they were correct. I'm not giving you a pass. You still hurt me. It's still valid. It's still there.
Yes,
I
indeed.
just want out. It's like I want to leave the room. Thank you very much. I'm
I want
done.
I want to deal with you this far.
Yeah, exactly. Speak to the hand. Yeah, it's kind of it. So am I being the bigger person? I don't know. It depends on your perspective. But I've always thought forgiveness is selfish. I'm doing it for me. And
Okay.
you're going to start looking at the world differently. You're going to start looking at it with gratitude. You're going to start looking and seeing. See, I can look back at my childhood, which was kind of dark, and I can look back at it and see the pockets of love that were there. I could
Mhm.
see the adults that were trying to help me. And I
Right.
couldn't see it because I was angry, and I should have been angry. It was a horrible situation. And I could forgive myself. And I stumble over this word every time I say it. I I got it right. Compartmentalized my myself. So the way I forgave myself, because sometimes you are your own number 10, I looked at that teenage Catherine as a separate person. And she did the best that she could with the tools that she had. And that's how I get to forgiveness. It's in the Bible. Jesus says, "Forgive them, Father, they know not what they do." What he means by that is if you're in the fifth grade and you haven't learned calculus, I can't get angry at you because you haven't learned calculus yet. You just haven't learned it yet. So that Catherine did the best that she could. She created a life so she could survive. And I could forgive that. And then I could forgive the 20 somethings and the 30 somethings. It's actually how I forgave my parents. They did the best that they could. Was it good enough? No. But they did the best they could. And if you combine that with some Simone Biles mental gymnastics, you can kind of get them from a 10 down to an 8 down to a 5. I mean, you can kind of with Simone Biles' help, you can kind of leap your way back a little bit.
She's an overachiever, no doubt. She
Oh yeah.
is. The
But
things that
sometimes it takes that level to back out of these memories. But you pick out the memories and it doesn't seem. But I legitimately can see pockets of love back there. And I can. And I have forgiven everybody, alive and dead. If they were in my head, I forgave them.
hey, got to make it happen. You got to make it do what it do. Because if you don't make it do what it do, who's going to do it for you?
That's right.
Nobody.
That's right.
No. So we're getting really, really close to our time. I just want to first get something motivational out of you so that our audience can see your perspective.
You are worthy to live a life of joy and happiness. It's your birthright. We're not meant to live in a refrigerator box on the street. You are worthy enough to lead the life you've always wanted to live. And through the power of forgiveness and gratitude and trusting your intuition, you can achieve what you want to achieve. You are worthy. This is your birthright.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And I'm going to share my screen because I want you to also tell our people where they can reach you. And I know that this is one of the places that they can reach you. One
Yes,
second.
they can go to CatherineGiovanni.com, and Catherine is spelled a little bit odd, thanks to my mother. Thanks, Mom. And it's Katharine Giovanni.com. They can go to Amazon, where all my books are. And for the forgiveness book, and the Little Bird book, I have the audio book available as well, because I do understand people don't like to read. So we have the audio book, the paperback, and the ebook available for everybody. And you can just go to this website, and all roads lead to Rome. It'll get you there.
So just a quick look at a lot of the things, some of the things that you actually see, or everything that you actually see when you get onto the website. So check it out. Check out Miss Catherine Giovanni's website. I think it's pretty cool. I like it. A nice picture, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I do those pictures myself, actually.
Awesome. Awesome. You did a good job, no doubt. I really like that artwork on that shirt too. That's really cool.
Thank you. I'm kind of a closet geek. It's something most people don't know. I usually do that stuff, but because I just enjoy doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm a little geeky.
you're not alone in that because all of the pictures, like even this one back here, I do all this stuff myself.
There you
Nobody,
go. Oh, I love it.
no shops, no nothing. Everything that you see, as far as all of my works are concerned, I'm the one that do it.
Yep, me too.
So definitely thank you so much, Miss Giovanni. This has been great. You've definitely shared some impactful information. Love your motivational thing that you put out there for everybody to actually understand and have something that they can actually build off of today, because that's the one of the main purposes that I like to do this podcast, is to give people things to build off of. I'm pretty sure that there's more people in the world that actually need this, and thank goodness they can actually go to your website
Mhm.
and learn more about it. They can ask you questions and things of that nature. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you so much for joining YTP Entertainment. Peace and blessings to you. Many blessings. Thank you so much. And please, by all means, continue doing what you're doing. And congratulations on your 12 years.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Very welcome. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
You as well.
Thank you.